Hey everyone, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the Kolkata Salsa Weekend edition of the Empowered Live Q&A. And my first message is from Hitesh. For anyone that has any questions regarding the actual event itself, Hitesh is the organizer of the event. He is in the chat, so if there's any question you have, feel free to type your questions in the chat. Also, in the description in the video, you guys can find the link to kolkatasalsaweekend.com for more information. The event is happening at the end of this month, April 26th to the 28th in Kolkata, which is in India. For those of us who might not know. It'll actually be my first time going there, so I'm pretty excited about it. Also, can everyone hear me okay? I kind of had a little issue with an echo the last time I did my live because I forgot to turn off some microphone or something like that. So let me know how you guys are hearing me. Give a thumbs up or a smiley face or a yes. And hello, Ahmed from Egypt, Roby Fuma from Italy, Debu, Calcutta. I'm sure I will see you very soon. Alipta, I got your questions. I'm going to answer those. Very good questions. Wow, all the way from Argentina. What do I remember from Argentina? I remember, what was that? Coffee drink, mate. Oh, that stuff is good. Actually, even better from Argentina is alfajor from the Havana brand. Those things are delicious. I wish I could find them here. And Eugenio. Eugenio is from Spain and always logged in and has some excellent questions. And Eugenio, I did get your question in the event page, so I will address that. I just want to let you guys know that I got a ton of really excellent questions before the actual live started. So I'm going to do my best to get to you guys as well. If you do have questions today, please leave them in the chat. And if I can't get to them in this 30 minutes or so, I will do my best to get to them in another live, or if they warrant it, I will do like an entire empowered video on that particular question. So don't hesitate to leave them there. Okay. All right. Who else is just coming in? Hi, Wes. Long time. Maybe I'll see you this year in San Antonio. Yes, Alfajor Havana. And hi, Abhik. Maybe I'll see you at the festival. Anyway, so oh, two other things. Sorry, I forgot. I keep forgetting to do this. There are two important links in the description as well. One is for your feedback, which I would really appreciate because the whole purpose of these live Q&As is not for me to sit in front of the camera and talk, because I actually don't quite enjoy it. I always get nervous about, like, do I look okay? Do I sound all right? Is everything going to go smoothly? But really, the main reason for me doing this stuff is for you guys. So I want to make sure that I am delivering something of value, and to also know what it is that you guys want me to cover in the future. Because as a teacher, as an instructor, as someone who is a leader in this industry, I want to make sure that I'm actually doing something that is useful to all of you guys. There's another link in the description as well, the second link, I believe, which is to subscribe to the mailing list. I don't send out a lot of emails in general because I hate getting a bunch of mass emails. But if you do want to be notified, like once every 2 weeks or once every month, of upcoming lives, any new empowered videos, or any online courses, this is the way to do it. So please take a time to subscribe to the mailing list and to the channel, and then leave your feedback. All right, so Ryochi, yes, that is a very, very important message, which I will get to. But I do want to get to the questions that you guys posed to me in chats and in comments. So one of the first questions I got was, or one important question was from Rohit, and it's regarding vertigo. The question is there a way to learn spins if you have vertigo, or to keep them at a minimum? So based on the very little research I was able to do in a couple of days on the topic of vertigo, It's an inner ear functioning that affects your balance. And if you suffer from it, and it's more common than not from what I've read, if you suffer from it, there are ways to slowly tackle it, but I would not recommend going at anything full force to a point where it's negatively affecting your dance. And in salsa, it's as much as there are spins in salsa, you could get through an entire night of dancing without spinning once. So it's not mandatory. The way I like to look at restrictions or possible obstacles to dancing in general is not to say, okay, well, I can't do this anymore, and so I'm going to have to limit myself. I prefer to look at it in a way of, I can't do this, but what else could I do to interpret the music the way I want to mimic something where I would have been doing multiple spins, but what else could I do in that same part of the music or with my partner? So for Rohit, I think you could probably build up your tolerance and get your body more accustomed to it. The body and the mind are incredibly powerful things. So I think you could probably build up your tolerance to it, but I would not recommend going at it too hard in a way that you're always getting dizzy or you're falling or things like that, because then what your body's going to do is it's going to get very defensive and it's not even going to want to start a spin in the first place. I hope that helped. A couple more people in the chat. Avi, Manish, JR, from New York. Racing. What kind of racing are we going to do? ZX Dance Works. Where are you from? And SJ Yotsna. I'm not getting that right, I'm sure. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to make Hitesh a moderator in this chat so that he can address your questions as well more easily. Oh, lots of people from Kolkata. I cannot wait to be there. That's all I gotta say. Okay, another question I got from Alipta, which is what to do to take the most away from a weekend. Uh, Salsa congresses can be very intense. I mean, they're intense even for me, and I'm not necessarily there to take workshops all day and do all the crazy stuff that most people that I know go to events to do. So I always say pace yourself, and the best way to take the most out of a weekend and to take the most out of classes is to take some time to understand how you learn, because not everyone learns the same way, or not everyone processes information the same way or as quickly. And so if you are there with a bunch of friends and you're like, okay, guys, we're going to take this workshop, that workshop, this workshop, and you're basically going to take classes for 8 hours from, 8 different instructors, maybe they are able to retain and apply all of that material, but maybe you can't. And so what you're doing by following them, doing exactly the same thing that they're doing, which is based on their strengths in learning, is going to end up being to your detriment in your learning, because you're just going to end up with a lot of information that you don't end up processing or don't end up retaining, which what is the purpose of taking any classes anyways if you're not actually going to be able to take something from there and use it in your dance in the future? So the first step would be to try and identify how you learn, to identify what kind of teachers, the teacher styles that you like. Some teachers have a habit of just going through the material and they make you repeat, repeat, repeat. If that's something that you enjoy doing and that's how you learn well, then that's the kind of class that you want to go to. Some other teachers, like myself, talk a lot and we break down technique in a lot of detail and find ways for you to understand how your body needs to move, and if that relates to you and if that's something that helps you to progress that type of understanding, then you want to focus your attention on taking classes with teachers like myself. Um, you can learn something from everyone. I truly do believe that, even if it's learning what not to do. But if you really do want to focus your learning at a weekend event, the best way to do it is to take the time to understand how you learn first. So I hope that helps, Alita. Um, all right, let's see what else we got. Now we have a whole bunch more people in the chat. Woohoo! Zedek Dancers is also from Kolkata. Hi Priyam, hi Janavi, hi Anjali. Anjali, I pronounced that wrong. Gaurav, Chitra, and Sudeshna. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I will see you guys all very soon. Okay, so Alipta, you had one other question, which is pretty useful for everyone else in chat and whoever ends up watching this replay. How would you advise us to prepare ourselves in terms of fitness, etc., to become better dancers? My dancing was not really from engaging in any type of sports or working out or really even taking classes, and I shouldn't say that because I want you guys to come to my class. But I think any type of movement-based activity can help your dancing if you apply yourself. So it's not enough to say go and do salsa classes and maybe take ballet or work out and do yoga and do Pilates and do all of these things if you don't really have a purpose as to why you're doing them. Like for myself, I do some stretches. I don't really do yoga or Pilates, but I have some stretches incorporated into my workout routine that allows me to limber up my shoulders because I need my shoulders for dancing. And so the tighter they are here, the harder it is for me to move around when I'm leading or when I'm following. I do stretches for my calves because we spend a lot of time when we're dancing on the balls of the feet. And so I want to make sure that that area is also equally limber, stretched out, and strong. Uh, Core exercises in general, I always advise people to do core exercises because that is your connection between your upper and your lower body. And it's it's your powerhouse. It's where all your power comes from. And it's an easy way to create a solid, strong unit from top to bottom if you've got a strong core. And of course, it's very protective for your back and for just taking weight off of other parts of your body that shouldn't necessarily be bearing weight. So, fitness is important, but do something that works with your schedule, that works with your time and also your efficiency. So if you worked out 7 days a week and you're training salsa classes 7 days a week and you're going out social dancing 7 days a week and you've got a 9 to 5 job and let's say you've got family and kids or something like that, you're overdoing it and you're probably not benefiting from anything. So make sure you pace yourself. Pacing yourself is super important for really appreciating whatever it is that you're doing and letting your body have a moment to say, oh, you know, yesterday we worked out and we stretched. How do we feel today? What can we do differently tomorrow? So when it comes to fitness, that would be my recommendation is to see what your goals are, identify your goals, and once you've identified your goals, then try and create steps as to how can I get to those goals. And not everything will fit. Like for me personally, I know a lot of friends of mine who are dancers who do ballet training. I have no desire to do ballet training because I'm not interested in doing pirouettes and spins or doing splits or things like that. It doesn't work for my dancing. However, I do want to be agile and I do want to be strong and fast. So my workouts in the gym are adapted to those goals. All right. 30 minutes, man. It's going to go by pretty fast. I have a feeling I might have to do a little bit longer with you guys today. All right. Eugenio, you asked a really great question, which I think for anyone who's in here who runs an event, Hitesh, Hitesh, or anybody else who's watching this, who runs an event or who's running a congress or who's even teaching a certain style of dancing, Eugenio said that at least in Europe and Spain, and I would like to confirm that it's pretty prominent everywhere in the world. People are divided by dancing styles. They could be divided by dancing styles within salsa itself, on one, on two, Cuban, or between dance genres, so salsa to bachata to kizomba. And they are divided at events, like you'll have a salsa only event or a bachata only event, and so of course that splits people. People who are more salseros might not attend a bachata event. It's divided within an event with different rooms. You might have, I mean, a salsa room, a kizomba room, a bachata room, and so the people don't necessarily interact with each other. They kind of stay in their room. Um, or it could be even within an event in one room where you have a DJ mixing music, where you've got salsa, bachata, kizomba, um, but the people who dance their particular genre won't end up dancing to other genres, or they won't ask someone to dance if they're not part of their own style of dancing. Um, and the question from Eugenia was, maybe we're not selling it the right way. So how would I pitch it? First of all, I'd like to say that I'm guilty of it as well. I love salsa dancing, and I could dance salsa all night. I don't feel the same about kizomba or bachata, and there's nothing against the dance itself. It's just my personal preference. There is a benefit, of course, to having an event where you have rooms catering to different people, because again, if you have someone like me who's such an avid fan of salsa, I would really prefer to dance salsa all night if I could. And so if there are other people like that who maybe don't feel comfortable in salsa, maybe they've learned the basics in bachata and they feel more confident there, or with kizomba and don't feel like their level in salsa is high enough, they don't necessarily want to be subject to seeing or to dancing two songs of bachata and then watching people dance for five songs and not really getting a chance to dance and to apply themselves. So I understand the reasoning why organizers split their events or split their rooms, or split up the music. In terms of getting people to interact more, um, it's tough, and it really depends on the vibe of any given night. Also, if you guys are hearing this banging, I apologize. They're doing renovations to the apartments here in yeah, they're definitely banging away here. Anyway, so when it comes to how we're selling it and how I would pitch it, it depends on the size of the event. If you have a really, really large event, then I would say having multiple rooms is probably a little bit easier to do. If you have, on the other hand, a smaller event where you've got, I don't know, 300 people, you might be able to um, do something within the same room. There's a possibility for organizers to take the lead and maybe make one of those snowball dances where they're like, all right, guys, we're going to have two people start and then they're going to go out and pick up somebody else to dance with. That's a possibility. Um, or they could encourage people. I think they have this in Italy where they have, I forgot what they're called. There's some kind of dancer at the event, and their job is basically to go out and get people to dance. So if they see somebody who was dancing a bachata or something, and then when salsa came on, they sat down, they might go and ask that person to dance. And so it invites someone to try something that they had not tried before. And I have a feeling I might have some issues with my connection at the moment. Let me just double check. Hmm, looks okay on my side. Um, right. So in terms of how I would pitch it, it would really depend on the size of the event. You kind of do want to cater to you want to try and cater to everyone to a degree, and you want to encourage the interaction, but you don't want to force it. I think a lot of things will happen on their own naturally, hopefully. And if they don't, then with time, maybe they will. But I think just like any relationship, our relationship with the music, our relationship with the dance, our relationship with dance styles and people, it's all the same. So there's a time when it makes it easier for us to interact with somebody else or a different dance style, and sometimes we're just not comfortable and we need to get to that level of comfort. And when it's forced upon us, it becomes harder for us to do. So I hope that's an understandable way of possibly pitching it, depending on the size of the event. Okay, let's see. All right, we've got a couple more questions. I do see this little loading thing on my side. I hope that you guys are not seeing it on your side. It might just be mine. All right, so Wes asked, what's the best approach to bringing new patterns into a social dance? There is a desire to provide a smooth dance for the other person, but also keep things interesting for yourself. Um, Usually, when it comes to new patterns, even for myself, when I'm dancing and I'm trying something new, I would focus more on 1 to 2 patterns instead of having like an entire, 10 patterns that I learned through the week or the past 2 weeks and then try and force that into a dance. Focusing on 1 or 2 patterns allows me to see how well I can lead them on different followers and also allows me to ingrain it into my dancing so that when I am dancing just on a regular night, it starts to come into my flow. Uh, a lot of people I find tend to learn, um, I don't know, tons and tons of patterns. Like they might be going to classes every single evening and they're learning a pattern every single night. And then they go out dancing on the weekend and they're trying to put in, 15 turn patterns, but none of them are perfected. They don't really have a smooth flow from one into the other. And so people end up getting stuck with a bad lead. Then they might start blaming the follower that the follower is not getting it, or they don't take the time and they end up being rough with forcing a follower into what it is that they wanted to do. So I think if you take the time to break up what you've learned and focus on maybe 1 or 2 patterns on any given night that you go out dancing, it'll be easier to introduce it in a way that still keeps it comfortable for your partner. All right, let's see who else we got here. So SJ Yotsna, we talked about fitness. I did mention the fitness routine for uh, Alipta. I had a similar question about fitness. And in terms of fitness as it pertains to being a better follow or being better at spins or lifts, you would need to go into each of those things to understand what is being used, like what exactly are the muscles that are being engaged, where do you need your strength and where do you need your flexibility. Guys in their construction, god damn it, where do you need your strength and where do you need your flexibility to then work on those things. It's going to vary with everybody because some people already are very flexible. I personally am not. And some people are very strong. And so a fitness routine for somebody who's very flexible does not necessarily need to involve a bunch of flexibility exercises. It probably needs to involve more strength training. So it really depends on what your goals are, where your strengths and your weaknesses lie, and then understanding where you need to develop, and then you build a fitness routine based on that. My spins course is going to have some exercises specifically for spins to develop that strength at least. But if you are working on your own, by all means, you should take a moment to analyze and evaluate your own body and see where you can improve. Also, for everyone who is kind of signing in right now, I'm getting a circle on my screen saying it's loading, but can everyone still hear me and see me? Have I cut out for anybody? Please just give a thumbs up or all is good or something in the text so I know. I'm slightly concerned that, okay, great, okay. That's just me, which is perfect because I don't really want to see my face anyways. Okay, so going through some of the other questions in chat. Let's see. Rohit, your question was answered earlier. Because I was advised as student. Yep. Eugenio, that was excellent. The instructor who advises the students to kind of focus on 1 or 2 things for the year. Again, in terms of the time that you spend focusing on a certain thing, it really depends on your strengths and learning. So if you are a really quick learner when it comes to some basic upper body movement, great. Then you can focus on something for a month or 2 months and then move on to something else. If footwork is a challenge for you, then don't keep on moving on to something new every week because you're never going to master it. So it really depends. Again, I cannot stress the importance of self-reflection and self-analysis and really understanding ourselves as students, as dancers, as people, as we are in relationships with other people, so that um, we can benefit the most from our interaction. So we can benefit the most from whatever we choose to partake in, whether it's a fitness activity, time spent with somebody, time spent alone, listening to music, whatever it may be. If we don't really understand where we're coming from, it's hard to get the most out of life. So I highly recommend time for self-reflection and self-analysis, and making a list if you need to, where you can write down what are your strengths and your weaknesses, what are your goals, what are the steps to those goals, and then figuring out a plan to get there. Um, all right, let's see. Da, 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 da. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Lots of people from Kolkata. I'm so happy to have you here. Not enough, but past 2 minutes. So Satish from ZX Danceworks asked, I'm doing salsa on and off for the past 2 months, or doing it regularly for the past 2 months. Should I attend your class? Again, depending on your level of dancing, you should slowly progress. However, if you have an opportunity to learn from someone who you might not have access to, or you are aware that they are breaking things down and it's not just a super fast class. Like my classes, I tend not to leave anybody in the dust. It's not my intention. Having an entire class where I'm the only one being able to execute the moves is not a proud moment for me. That is a disappointing moment for me. I want my class, I want 95% of my class to be able to do what I'm teaching them and to understand the movement. So, yes, I think you would be fine attending my class. And even if you're not doing it necessarily, I often have people who will come and they will sit on the side and just listen, because maybe not everything will apply to you at your level of dancing, but I guarantee there will be something that you'll be able to take away and say, you know what, I can implement this into my dancing right now. And at a future date, if I remember some of the other things that she said, I'll be able to use those as well. Or in the future, you can work with me again at a later date, online coaching, or at another event. But yeah, I would recommend you come to the class and see what you could get from it. It never hurts. And I've never been to Kolkata before, so who knows when I'll be back there again. So this is a good opportunity to experience that. Which is my perfume? I actually don't usually wear perfume. I used to have a lot of perfumes. I loved Jean Paul Gaultier. I love Hugo Boss for women and Kenzo, but it's the men's version. It's just very earthy and fresh. What is another one? And Burberry. Burberry has some nice smells, but they're all like little empty bottles now. I haven't used them in, I don't know, years. Mega Samani, how do we work on landing after spinning? We will work on that when I get to Kolkata. That is going to be hard for me to demonstrate right now, given the setup of my laptop. Zambajana is also going. Antoinette, welcome. I'm not sure where you're from. Please tell me where you're from. She said, there's so much kizomba and bachata now. It's also going to fade away. Am I a freak for hating bachata and kizomba? You're not a freak for hating them. I do feel that there is a pull away from salsa, and I think it's because the basic step of kizomba and bachata are probably a little bit easier to learn and feel comfortable. God, these people. My timing for this. I'm sorry, Hitesh, and sorry for everybody if that is as loud as it is for you guys as it is for me. So yeah, with bachata and kizomba, I feel like you can learn a basic step that allows you to kind of enjoy a full dance for the most part and still feel like you gave your partner something of value. Whereas with salsa, if you were just doing a basic step and a right turn, within 15 seconds, you could tell that you're just repeating the same thing. And so I understand that the entry into salsa is a slightly longer journey, and it does require a little bit more commitment. And with the popularity, the increased popularity of bachata and kizomba now in the global scene, including at salsa events, I can understand where people are like, well, you know, I just want to dance with somebody and just chill and do a couple of moves and have fun and meet some people. And so I don't want to invest the time in learning salsa to that same degree that would allow me to do that in salsa when I could do it for less of an investment in bachata or kizomba. Of course, if you invest more time in bachata and kizomba, you can take your dancing in those dances to a much higher level. It's not to say that they're super basic, but um, you can get away with a lot less, I think, in those two dances. Um, I hope salsa doesn't fade away. I think salsa is an incredibly rich dance when it comes to the movements, when it comes to the music, and just the fusion of so many things that can come into there. And also, of course, personally, as a salsa dancer and a follower who believes that it's a two-way street when it comes to conversation, um, I don't feel like other dances allow for that much freedom for a follower to direct the conversation in the dance. And so I really do hope that salsa does not disappear. And for all of you guys out there who are listening to this right now, watching it right now, or watching it on a replay, if you did get into bachata or kizomba because salsa was too difficult, uh, you don't have to get into salsa right away, but don't completely eliminate it because it really is incredibly rich as a dance. And once you get into it, at least to beyond the basic level, once you are able to just learn a couple of moves where you can play with your partner, you'll see how addictive it is. And not to say that you have to give up bachata or kizomba either. It's not you don't have to have one or the other. There's no one making that or putting that pressure on you to choose only one. And if any instructor is putting that pressure on you, I think they're failing at their job. I think you should do what you enjoy, but be open minded to see what else you could possibly enjoy. Because at the end of the day, if it's about connecting with other people, there are many ways to connect with other people. So don't eliminate or rule out other possibilities. All right, let's see. Ryochi, I love the fans being part of the band. Thank you, Ryochi. I hope to be back in Argentina sometime soon. I get played so much I don't organically like that. Okay. 2 years since I learned salsa. I want to learn salsa on one, but it's hard because the rhythm on two. So from Korea, I cannot read Korean anymore. I used to be able to read Korean. I dated a Korean guy a very long time ago, and I learned how to read Korean. So I cannot say her name. I apologize. The question was, he's been dancing, or she's been dancing 2 years on two in South Korea, and you want to learn on one, but it's hard because of the rhythm of on two. Is there an easy way? Very quickly, I would say identifying the one is usually easier than it is to identify the two because the one is a downbeat, and we can hear that in a lot of music, and it's much easier for us to do this going into the ground. Dancing on two actually involves the upbeat, so it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is a little harder for most people to get into. So if you want to learn on one, a very easy way to approach it would just be to kind of mark this and then start accenting that in your step. So when you're dancing on two, think of accenting that downbeat and not emphasizing the two as much. You could still do it actually even within your on two basic, just to feel out the one and then switch up the direction of your basic so that you would be breaking on one instead of on two. That's a lot easier to explain and demonstrate. But again, I can't really do that today because this setup would be a challenge. But I will. If you want something like that, maybe I'll think of either making a course on transitioning or doing a video of that. All right. If you feel stuck on your dance, you should your way back home. Beautiful quote by Antonio. If you feel you're stuck in your dancing, let music show you the way back home. I agree to a degree that yes, let the music show you the way back home. But if you don't learn how to walk, you'll be crawling the way back home, and it might take a lot longer to get home. So I think it's important for us to learn technique, learn the skills that can facilitate our understanding and our connection to the music. It's not one or the other. Again, I can't stress that enough. There's too much of a dichotomy in dance and in learning and in teaching that is like, just focus on this or just focus on that. It's not about that. Life is not like that. Life is about taking all the things that we learn from all different aspects of our life and incorporating it, molding it together so that we can create a fuller picture of who we are, and what we can contribute to the dance and to the world and to our relationships in general. So yes, the music will show you your way back home, but if you don't know how to walk and you don't know how to crawl, you will be stuck in the exact same place. So you want to learn, you want to use that body, you want to learn some technique, you want to be efficient in your movement so that you can get home quickly. All right. Guys, we're going to probably have to wrap up. There are quite a lot of questions here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get to all of them. Yeah, we're already over 30 minutes and I have another call. So I will try and get to your questions in the comments, or possibly maybe in another video. I can record another Empowered video or a future live. I do intend to do this once a month. So again, like I mentioned at the beginning, go into the description. There is a subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the mailing list so that you can be notified of when I'm doing this again. And also, please, 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 leave your feedback. I would love to know what you guys think of this and if it's helpful to all of you so that I can keep on doing it. But I am intending to do this at least once a month, fingers crossed, with schedules. To wrap up, again, this was in conjunction with Kolkata Salsa Weekend edition, Kolkata Salsa Weekend with Hitesh, who is in the chat. So if you guys have any questions about the event, by all means, you can reach out to him. Kolkata Salsa Weekend is there on Facebook or kolkatasalsaweekend.com. The link is also in the descriptions if you need further information. If you guys are going to be there, April 26th to 28th, I am looking forward to seeing you and working with all of you. If you're not going to be there, India is a beautiful country to visit. I highly recommend taking one trip there at least once in your lifetime. And there are many other ways to learn with me. You can reach out to me in a private message. We can always discuss that. But there are online courses that I'll be offering, and there's online coaching and training. And if you're ever in the New York, New Jersey area, there's always in-person training as well. So please, please, please don't forget, subscribe to the mailing list and to the channel, and please leave your feedback. Thank you guys for a fantastic session today. Thank you for all of the questions. You guys asked some really excellent questions. Keep thinking about things, because the more we ask questions, the more we solidify our own understanding of things. So keep asking questions. And in the feedback form, actually, there's a section that asks you what you would like to know more about. So if you have a bunch of questions that I didn't get a chance to address today, please add them there. I will do my best to address them soon. Yeah, I really apologize. There's so many so many messages here. Thank you guys, and I look forward to chatting with all of you again very, very soon. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm here right now, but I'll be gone in a minute. So if you want to keep up to date with any of the other things I'm doing, you guys can follow me there as well. Hitesh, any questions for Hitesh? KolkataSalsaWeekend.com, April 26th to 28th. See you guys soon. Bye.